Here we are at episode number 2026. And I'll tell you what, Scott and I have done this so much that we forgot to just go ahead and hit the record button because we were getting in some really good, deep conversations. And we're recording this at the second week of 2026. And I'll tell you what, these conversations were making us laugh. You could see when we joined the video that we actually hit the record button, we were already still laughing. And we're going to talk today about what your year looks like. So I'm a huge fan of 2026 calendars. I'm a huge fan of looking at 2025. So I've got a big calendar. Jesse Itzler's great big calendar. It fills up a whole wall. And Scott and I was talking about the things that are non-negotiable in life. And I think something that should be non-negotiable for you in your life is your desired life. And your calendar should be a direct reflection of that. So Scott, I know for you, man, and for me, as much time we spent together, there's one thing that you do, I know of for a fact, and I do it too. If there's a goal, if there's a one thing that you're going to do to make 2025 or 2026 your year, you had one thing and you had it on your calendar, you had it on your goals list, you were chipping away. Am I right or wrong?
Yes, it definitely is. And there's always one thing. And, with the main thing for me right now is that, with our kids are now both in college and stuff, is my main goal right now is myself and my wife to reconnect and kind of focus on what we want to do. And like we already scheduled an event, which we were thinking back, when's the last time we went away together? And, since the kid's been born, I don't think it's been many. It's been many. And we already scheduled a trip to her friend. She has a friend in LA we're going to visit. And one of her clients is in Santa Barbara that has a winery that we're going to go visit. And so it's close to our anniversary. So they'll all be kind of rolled together. And so that's how I'm going to kick off the year, and that's next month because it's already almost February. And that's one thing that's important to me. And that, and, scheduling those trips with my kids and my wife to where we're all together. And like you were saying, those are the non-negotiables. Those will come first. We'll put those on, and then those aren't changing. We're not deviating from those. All the rest of the stuff can change, but those are going to come first.
Yeah. Keep on talking on that subject. I'm going to grab my calendar real quick so we can actually get a visual representation. We're going to talk through this because
Okay.
putting those non-negotiables first is super important.
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of people say family first and all that stuff, but if you don't schedule that first, then is it really first? You know, and that's the way I look at it. And all the rest of those things will be. I just get a kick out of when I see this calendar.
I'm gonna disappear for a minute. Here's my calendar, and here's the thing: this calendar. If you see all those red hash marks, all those hash marks is when a day is over. And
Mm,
I'll tell you what: when you start looking at your big calendar and you start putting those hash marks in, like you can't go back.
hmm
Like seriously, like when you look at that and you see all those red hash marks, those days are burned.
Yeah, it's
You can't
gone.
go back to it. And when you can't go back to it, it really does give you a sense of urgency. Like if you haven't planned your year, like if you haven't planned your 1 year defining event, Jesse Itzler, by the way, we don't make anything off Jesse's calendar, but
Yeah,
Jesse Itzler is who makes that calendar or who supplies that calendar.
yeah. I'm getting one. I'm excited.
If you don't take your entire year and make a month or a week or a couple days important that's non-negotiable, like for you and your wife. So you have 1 year defining goal, one Muskogee, one thing that you're going to do, one event you'll never forget, one trip you'll never forget. That's important. And I'm going to tell you
Mm,
what, I don't know how many people, including myself, I have marked days off my calendar until I got down to where I was like, it's too late to find time for an event because all these other holidays are going on and everything
hmm
else. And that's another year gone. And
hmm
here's the sad part. A lot of us, and I mean a lot of us, we don't pay attention how fast time is flying. Like it's Wednesday right now. And I
Hmm.
guarantee you, like it was Monday, like a blink of an eye. Just
Hmm.
Monday, Tuesday, now it's gone. Now we're at Wednesday. I mean, it'll be Friday before we know it. And that's the way it goes. That's life. Like it just
Hmm.
accelerates. So for me personally, what really changed was when I started thinking about, man, I want to plan my life. And, I want to plan those non negotiable trips. I want to plan those habits that I'm going to hit. I want to plan those day trips. Those, hey, I'm going to spend less than $50. I think they're called Kevin's rules when it comes to, and if I'm right, put that in the comments below. It's Kevin's rules in the Muskogee. If you ever heard of Jesse Itzler, you probably know what I'm talking about. But these little day or two trips, man, they are so important. Like you look at the wife and you say, um, you want to go for like a 1 day drive
Yeah.
somewhere and then go take that hike or go walk on that beach? Maybe it's drive to another coast.
Yeah.
You're on the East Coast. Maybe you're going to drive to the West Coast and go to Sanibel Island and
Yeah.
go look at the shells. Like just take a day. Go do that. Go do something completely different. Like these are so powerful. Don't we
Yeah.
forget to do them?
Yeah, they really are. Because if we don't plan them, then they end up, oh, we don't have time. Because then all these other things, we fill it in with all these other things that we really don't need to be doing, or we didn't really decide to do. We just ended up doing them, because we just
Yeah,
felt
exactly.
obligated to fill up that time with whatever that event was. There was a thing my wife sent me, and I forget the guy's name, and I will send it to you. It was an Instagram. It was a guy. He was saying, he's like, I apologize for putting me first. I apologize that I made you uncomfortable. That I'm I'm not doing things for you, but I'm doing things for my benefit. And I apologize. And it goes into a long thing, and the guy is a great, imagine he's a great coach and everything else, because it just goes into this whole thing, like he apologizes for him accepting that he needs to take care of him first, that rather than taking care of everyone else. And that's why you put these non-negotiables on the calendar, because these are the
100%.
things that are taking care of you first. If you can't take care of you, you cannot take care of anybody else.
Let's put it in perspective for a minute. Every time you've ever been briefed on a flight, commercial flight, they always tell you to put on your oxygen mask first before helping somebody else. I'm sure if you are briefing somebody on your yacht, hey, put on your life jacket first
Hmm.
before, helping somebody else. Because let's say you fall in the water and you have no life jacket. What's going to
Hmm.
happen?
Yeah,
Like
you're done.
you're going to only tread water for so long before you just get tired. But if you put that thing on first and somebody goes overboard, you could jump in
Yeah,
and you
you
could
can
grab
go.
a hold of them, and probably both of you would somewhat float better than not having a life jacket at all.
Yeah.
Or you could throw a life ring or something. So that's really the premise. One thing I want to touch on, all these red marks here, all those red marks, that's the first 3 months of the year. 3 months of 2025, I didn't have a single thing planned in 2025. Dude, that's a huge regret because
Hmm.
that was 3 months of my life that I just kind of let go, just kind of let it go, just kind of flow through. Now, of course, I had my regular calendar where I was
Hmm.
running my day to day, but there was no life changing events. There
Hmm.
was no day trips. Like it was just work, 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 just
Yeah.
work. And to be honest, like I really had to play catch up. Now I'll say this year, I got one, two, three, four, five, six, seven.
7.
I'm sorry, eight. I've got 8 events on my calendar already for 2026 in the first 3 months.
I gotta
Huge
see. I gotta
difference.
see. I'm definitely ordering this calendar, because I gotta see how many events, because I'm already getting, like, I know when I get home, like last time when I went home, I hit the ground running, and I went straight through till I got here, and then I went powered through here, and my wife goes, "Aren't you tired?" And I said, I didn't really think about it, but then, like, when I get home, I know
Yeah.
I'll probably sleep like I'm dead, probably. But
Yeah,
if I
of
don't
course.
plan them, And if I don't put them on the calendar, because I know I have a few events in Florida that I'm doing, and then a couple of things I'm doing with my wife and our anniversary and my daughter's birthday next weekend. Those are the non-negotiables that we're doing first. And I know I have my sister-in-law. She's turned 60. We're going to California, Mount Shasta somewhere. I know we're doing that sometime this year. Then my parents' 60th anniversary is this year too, end of the year. So I know we're doing that. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking my calendar's full
So that's the
already.
thing. So what that's the thing, man. And when you can visualize it, so get a calendar and then put the different colors on there. And when you look at your year and you're like, wow, I don't have a whole lot of white space. And that's one of the things that I did was my non-negotiables are red. And
Mm-hmm.
two of my non-negotiables this year is my parents' birthdays. My dad's
Nice.
going to be 88 this year. My grandfather never lived past 86. So now dad's the oldest Austin in the family out of all the forefathers. So, every year that he has a birthday and he's still with us, dude,
Yeah, you
that's
got to
that's a year
celebrate.
defining event. Like that has to be important. I'm going to spend the time with my dad on that day. And I'm going to
That's
spend time with my mom. She's up in age as well. Because
that's
think
right.
about it, man. Every year's a blessing.
Every day, and I do
Every day,
remember
every year.
that's right. I think both our dad's birthdays are pretty close. I remember we were laughing about. We got a chuckle out of it because it was right around in October
Nine
or
twenty seven
late.
38.
Yeah, I think my dad's 9/28/38, something like that. They're like about a day.
Yeah.
It's pretty close. I
Yeah.
remember. Yeah, they're almost exact same
Yeah.
age. That's
Nine
pretty
twenty
cool.
seven 38.
I think he's nine twenty
Yeah.
eight. Yeah, so that's really cool. But that's one of those things where we got to spend that time because we don't get it back. You know, we're
And if
you
you
don't want
don't
to regret
schedule it,
that. Yeah,
no, if you don't schedule it, guess what happens? An event
you
pops
miss.
up.
You
You
miss.
say yes to some things. Boom. Like you're overran on that. And that's the thing. Jesse talked to a guy one time. This was super powerful. He said, hey, how old's your dad? And he said, oh, well, he's 75. And he goes, okay, so the average male lives to 80 years old. So how often you see your dad? Once a year. He goes, okay, so once a year. And how long you spend with your dad? 5 days. 5 days. Okay. So 5 days, and you see your dad once a year, and you're going to see him this year. So let me get this right. So if your dad lives to 80, you're going to see him 5 more times, and you're only going to spend 25 more days with him. When you think about it like that,
Yeah, it's not
think
much
about
more.
that. So that's less than a month that you're going to actually see your dad,
Hmm.
physically see him, hang out with him, if he lives to 80. Things happen.
Yeah, most definitely. I know with my dad, 88 this year. His dad died at 56.
Mm,
And a bit of you know, he drank too much or whatever it was. Doctor told him he needed to quit, but he said all his friends drank, so that was it. He didn't think much of it, but my dad was young and stuff. So my dad's probably the oldest, one of the oldest of his siblings. Well, actually, he's the youngest, but most of them are still alive except for one just passed a couple years ago. So, like,
good genes there.
yeah, like you said, it's tough. Well, my dad stopped drinking at 40, so not because he had an issue with it; it was just health reason. He knew that he didn't want to end up like his dad. He knew it was going to be bad for him if he kept drinking and smoking. It wasn't going to be, which he probably wouldn't be around if he didn't make that decision. And that was a
Yeah,
great
of
call
course.
for us. A great call for us as kids. So it's one of those things where, like we're talking about the calendar, is to make those decisions, to put those things on the calendar, schedule that time with those people, the non-negotiables, and what would you say are the next things that you schedule there? Are those are the, not say less important, but things that you can potentially move around a little bit?
So the next thing that I really schedule, comes down to like health, wellness, money, stuff like that. So there's a something, and that's usually a habit. So I'm scheduling from month 1 till month 3, like that's the first quarter. Like there's a something I'm working on that over the next 3 months I'm working on maybe one task a day that is this habit that I'm building. And this habit will be life changing, whether that's for health, wellness, money, whatever that might be. Like these are healthy habits and I'm building that habit. So I'll carry that through the rest of the year. But, for this year, I will put my parents on payroll and my mother and father in law on payroll this year. And I won't miss on that. So there's certain things like reverse engineering. I think that's one of the things I want to move into is reverse engineering that. So to really effectively do that, like either you do this on a whiteboard or on something, on a piece of paper, and put down a date and a number. So for me, it's August 2026. Like I'm going to supplement their income. I'm not putting them on payroll so they can work for me. Don't think that. Like I want them to be able to truly retire, have money freedom so they have more time freedom because they
Hmm.
still work a lot because they feel like they don't have enough money. They're going to outlive their retirement. So I want to supplement that income for them. So to do that, like I know the date is August. We're here January 14th, and I know that I have until August 20th to hit this number. So I have a number and I have a date in mind. So from there, it's just reverse engineering that. Like there's certain businesses we got to close, there's certain things we're going to do, there's certain incomes we're going to move in certain places, there's certain metrics I have to hit along the way to get to this point. So that's the thing is my daily calendar, there's certain activities that are towards this freedom number or towards this freedom thing that I'm doing. So you have to plan that. And you also have to look at your calendar. Is there things that are non negotiable that's going to get in the way of that? Or are they going to complement that? Because also, like for you, dude, you worked a tremendous amount. Like you were a walking zombie. I didn't even
Yeah.
realize that you were tired. But however, I think you had a conversation with your wife and she's like, you're not even making sense right now.
Well, that happens quite a
Right?
lot.
Well, but what I mean is you were so tired and you thought you're functioning at 1,000%
Yeah, normal.
capacity,
Yeah.
doing very, very well. And cognitively, like your wife's like, hey, honey, I love you, but Scott, you're not even making sense right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. I
Like
guess.
you need to go to bed.
No,
Right. That's the
it's,
thing. Like your clear thought.
yeah. And that's, I'm thinking and thinking about this calendar because I'm definitely getting the big calendar and I'm rewriting and writing and I've been working on it a little bit every day is my personal declaration letter of where I am, who I am, and what I'm being um, on the 1st of 2027 January. And
Yes.
those are all going to be things that are just a big long target of the big calendar because those targets are going to have to be there for that for those things as well. And it's like you said, it's those big things don't come without those small actions.
I'd have to ask, for me, I'm gonna look in the mirror for a minute. I had a I had a guy really shake me up one time. We were talking about me writing my book, and
Mm.
he said, "Hey, you're going to write that book this year. Let me see your calendar." So he knew I had my calendar on my phone, so I put up my calendar. He goes, "Where's every day you're writing in the book? Where's every hour per week you're writing in your book?" And I said, "Well, I've in the free time." He goes, "No, no, no. If it's not scheduled, it's not important. If it's not on your calendar, it's not getting done." So, he challenged me to get that on my calendar. And I said, you know what? I'm going to have it done. And what I did well, I'll just reverse engineer it, work backwards. I'm going to have it done and launched by October. But
Mm-hmm.
my mistake is I still didn't schedule either weekly or daily time to take time to stop what I'm doing and say, all right, I'm working on my book right now. And guess what? We got to December and I still hadn't finished my book. Like I had about a 80% manuscript, and everything else. And finally, my daughter publishes her book, and she's like, "Hey, how do you publish a book?" And I'm like, "Well, I'll help you out with that." I got her all the information. She publishes hers, and I'm sitting here going, "I've been writing my book for 5 years."
Man,
So it's because I haven't scheduled it, right? It wasn't that important because it wasn't scheduled, so it doesn't get done. Well, now I said, you know what? I'm taking off 2 weeks at the end of the year. And I did the first time I've ever done this. I took off from Christmas all the way until New Year. No
wow,
work, just just focus on what was most important. What was most important to me was publishing that book because it felt like a spiritual calling that I get this done. And I did it, and it's done, and it's going to be released in February. But
perfect.
if I hadn't of just like it took a relentless amount of effort to catch up on how much I screwed up through the year. By not making it important and front and center, putting it on my calendar weekly.
Hmm.
Because that's the thing. Hey, maybe every time you get home, Scott and your wife, you got a date night, or
Hmm.
you're going to have a time for a walk. Like if you're talking about in the beginning of this improving your relationship with your wife because you're empty nesting now.
Yeah.
So maybe every single time, second day after you get some rest, of course, you're taking a day,
Yeah.
non-negotiable, that you're going to go do something with your wife.
Yeah. And one of the things that I thought about is that, once a month we go and do something that we've never done before. Just try something new. Because we've talked about it,
Spontaneous.
most of us kind of, for the most part, we focused on the kids, and that was our whole everything. And then now, like, we figured out we don't have a lot of hobbies, really. I mean, I like to read,
Hmm.
and stuff, but there's not really any hobbies that we do together. So we got to try some random stuff, and hey, we might do some goofy stuff, and we might turn and find something that who knows what we might like. It'll be cool. It'll be fun.
Exactly, man. For me, I used to be an avid bowler, pool player, like tenacious, just
Hmm.
love those games. But I don't drink, so playing pool, wasn't the same anymore.
Hmm.
Our bowling alley, and I had hurt my finger pretty bad, so I didn't bowl much anymore. So those hobbies were kind of gone. My hobbies has always been kind of shooting,
Hmm.
but I just kind of let those go. And my hobby was really business. And,
Hmm.
not by my words, but other people's words, I was pretty good at it, like really good at
Hmm.
business. And that's my hobby. But the problem with business is that if that's a hobby and you're addicted to it, you never turn off. Like you never, ever like go swing the golf club,
Yeah.
go do something fun, like never do something out of the ordinary. And dude, it ate me up. Like it truly ate up all my time. And you have to have a hobby. Like you need something
Yeah.
that's just whether that's going on a beach and scanning for the metal detector or
Yeah.
finding different
Coins
shells.
or
There's got to
whatever.
be something
Yeah.
that you find enjoyment in.
Yeah. Well,
Has to
and
be.
recently, and what I've been doing is just because I'm back in the Caribbean again. I used to always love hiking, so I make it a point every day to go and find some kind of hike, whether it's a urban hike or it's up a hill, something, or and then try to end it jumping in the beach, jumping in the water, because that to me that's like a
There you go.
recharge, and it's clearing, especially getting done with a long trip, walking up a hill. You have that sense of accomplishment. Then you just sit up there, and I was reading this book recently that I just finished the manifesto. What is it? Something I got it right. Motivation manifesto. But it said take the
Hmm.
time when you get to that hill or you get done. Take that extra breath. Take that moment. Take that time because you don't just charge through it. And I said, you know what? And so I started doing that when I get to the top, or even when I get halfway up. Take a breath and take a look at where I'm at. And then you realize, and I did that quite a bit on this trip. And I was like, you know what? I'm actually in some pretty cool places. And I'm pretty thankful, pretty grateful that I get to do this and I get to be here. Now, a lot of
That's
people
right.
get to do this and get to be here. So, you know, that's something else that I'm incorporating into this year is just realize the moment, that realize the present, realize where you are, be more present with who you're around, who you're with. Don't just be there, be with who you're there with. You know, it's important.
That's it, man. Maybe episode number 26 we have something along this subject. It was really surreal to me. I had posted online about the book Welded to Wealth that's going to come out here soon. I was one time I was a supervisor, maintenance supervisor at a Toyota manufacturing plant. One of the employees had seen that I posted about the book, that I wrote this book, and he's followed me through my journey. And he said, "This is so uplifting." This was the same guy that I used to call at 2 o'clock in the morning to come in and help me with a machine that was down, to now he's done all the things he has to writing this book. So it was really at that time I sat down on the couch and I was like, wow, I've really went somewhere, man. Like, from all of that to
Yeah.
here. So think about for you for a minute. So like welding up dumpsters and running a dumpster company to piloting a yacht. Dude, think about that for a minute. So I think that maybe the episode number 27 is think about where you come from.
Yeah.
Like the transformation over the last 15, 20 years.
Yeah, you never know where the ride's going to take you. Like as a kid, I remember going from Jamaica to Texas. That was different. And then like me and my brother welding those dumpsters and picking up trash when the drivers wouldn't show up and stuff. We're 18 years old. Didn't even.
Yeah.
I'm sure the statute of limitations run out. We didn't have a license, but hey, the truck still had the trash still needed to be picked up. Me and my brother would sit on the phone book because we thought it made us look older. We just looked like taller young kids driving the truck.
Of course.
To now, and the real estate, and to being here with you on this podcast and doing my own podcast, you doing yours, and then I recently started Check-in Tuesday with another captain friend of mine, where people can come and check in if they got any issues. We just talk about it and see what we can do to help. And I've been really enjoying that, much like I enjoy this, because it gets me through a lot of things, and I'm hoping that it resonates with a lot of people and gives them like, hey, I can do that too. I can do this. If they're doing it, I can do it. And that's what it's all about. Like 2026 is going to be yet another big year, for everybody. Really, there's so much.
I'll tell you, man,
out there.
I think 26 is going to be a transformational year for a lot of people if they set it up right. And what I mean by that they kind of manifest the destination in a positive way, and they really think about their desired life and really put that on their calendar and say, you know what, no excuses, no manifesting ill feelings, no manifesting sadness. We're going to manifest goodness in our life, joy in our life. We're not seeking happiness, we're seeking joy. And I think, be honest, man, from about July of 2025 until right now has been the most transformational this human being has ever experienced.
Yeah.
And that started with mindset. It started with thinking about my calendar. It started thinking about where am I going to put my time, and who am I going to hang out with? Who am I going to surround myself with? Who is my inner circle? Who am I going to podcast with? We already know who that is. Like, that was just transformational, man. Yeah. And I know for everybody listening, it can be transformational for you, but let's think about this. Here's some things you got to make non-negotiable. 26. I'm going to find joy in everything I do. And I'm going to formulate some good habits. I'm going to put my non-negotiables first. If that's health, it's wellness. Put the oxygen mask on first. Put the life preserver on first. Put your life together and go out and help somebody else. And, sometimes the way to do that is you're physically going to have to look at your calendar and say, hey, how much time am I spending doing nothing?
Hmm.
And if you're burning down every single 5 to 9, 5 p.m. till 9 p.m., burning down Netflix series episodes one after another, I've been guilty of it now myself. Stranger Things, man,
Yeah.
addictive to watch.
Landman.
But,
I'm
at
guilty.
the end of the day,
Yeah.
yeah. But at the end
Landman.
of the day, like
Yeah.
that time could be spent doing something that would help somebody else or helping yourself.
Yeah, and the non-negotiables are very important, and I think it's very important that, we have that goal and we work ourselves back from it, and fill that calendar
Yes.
with that breakdown, because, if you write your declaration letter of where you're going to be on January 1st, 2027, and work your way back from it, you'll realize that it's not as big as you think it is, and it's possible. All of it's possible, provided you do, like Eddie was saying, you do it with joy, and you do it with an open heart and open mind, because it's proven that if you are relaxed and joyful, you come up with a lot better creative solutions. You're able to find the solution. You're able to help more people, and you help more people, you you end up rising. You end up raising yourself up as well.
100%. And, I got to say, don't make the same mistake I did. If you truly want to write a book, if you truly want to
Yeah.
do something, just incredible, put it on your calendar
Yeah.
consistently every week. Make it a habit. Put it on there as, hey, this time is for me to write, to make these videos, to do these podcasts with Scott. Like outline this time. Maybe you've got a Scott that you want to start doing a podcast with. Start today, put it on your calendar, and start doing it, man. And it resonates with so many people when you finish something like that. But the first thing you got to do is you got to put it on your calendar. So get you one of these great big calendars. Again, we have no affiliation to Jesse Itzler, but I truly love the great big calendar. Like I
Well,
love it. I really do.
I don't know why I didn't have one, because I used to have like the big monthly calendar, and it used to like help me a lot, because I'd look up and be like, okay, 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 like I can visualize, I can see it, I can see it, and we do it on the boat here. Like we have a countdown, we write out activities and things that we're doing, this and that, and you know, but I need to do that. I don't know why I didn't. I remember I saw the big calendar. I thought that, oh, well, that's a pretty good idea, and then I just kind of backburnered it or whatever. But I'm definitely going to be
Yeah.
doing that, and I know I have one thing I have to follow up with my daughter, because I asked both my daughters, New Year's Day or a couple days in, I said, okay, is there some goal you want to do this year that I can help you with? And the oldest daughter said, well, I wanted to start a Bible study for people that work on boats. And I said, well, that's really cool.
There you go.
And I said, okay, let me know what I can do to help. Like I said, we started with a good friend of mine, Captain Liam. We did a check-in Tuesday where we crew check-in. And I was like, okay, we'll mention it there, because people need, a lot of times we might not know. She said also I can help them find a church or whatever, depending on where they are in the world. And because a lot of times we don't know where we are and where we can go. And so I do need to follow up with that. That's going to be one of my non-negotiables, is to help her do that. And my younger daughter, I asked her the same question: what goal do you have that I can help you with? And she said, to be more awesome. And I said, well, you already nailed that. So can we do something else?
Well, as we all know, every level's a new devil, and she's going to reach the new one and work
Yeah,
through that one
yeah,
too.
yeah, yeah. So no, but that's another non-negotiable that has to go on the calendar, and I have to just keep following up with that and work that way back, because I think that'll be a good thing for even people that work in aviation, or other mariners, or just people that travel and work a lot. They might not feel they have the time to go to a church or go to their house of worship or whatever, and maybe they could just sign on and check it out or whatever, where it'd be helpful for them, because
Absolutely.
we all need some kind of, we all need something like that more than we know.
We all need guidance.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all need guidance. We all do. Well, Scott, where can everybody find you, buddy?
It's pretty easy. Investwithscottkid.com, and podcasts are there. Myself, Eddie Austin, are there. Yacht Captain Investor podcast on my social media. And I look forward to connecting with you, anybody, and whatever I can do to help. I'm always available.
Absolutely. So Eddie Austin BEX here on all platforms. You can go to eddieaustinbex.com and you can find all my social media. You can find other podcast episodes. And coming soon, we'll have a tab for all of our episodes that we've had so far, whether that's on Scott's podcast or mine. And we love helping other people. So would you do us a favor? Would you do us a favor, a huge favor, and would you smash that like button? And please subscribe, because we notice a ton of our listeners, they do listen. We see the algorithm. You guys listen, but you don't subscribe. And the only way that we make this bigger and more people get to see it is if we become bigger with more subscribers. So we're asking you for your help. We need your help for more subscribers. So please smash that subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next episode. See you then.
Thank you.